3SN Live. Let your voices be heard. Tweet us at 3S Network, like us on Facebook, or comment at 360sportsnetwork.com. And now, here's the hosts of the show, Dawson and DeLab, on 3SN Live.
Welcome to 360 Sports Network, everybody. I'm Alex Laverson, and with me is James No Doubt Dodson. We are live here at the Crane Room Bar and Grill in beautiful Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's pasta night, so everyone should stop down. We have a few things on for topics tonight. One of the more notable things would be Media Day. We got some deer antler storylines. I have no idea what that is. Randy Moss allegedly calling out Jerry Rice. Super Bowl in a few days, which no one is even talking about the game itself.
But Media Day did enough to completely get rid of that, didn't it?
Yeah, so a lot's going on, but let's go over the whole Moss-Rice thing. A lot of headlines were made at Media Day because Randy Moss being Randy Moss, he's washed up. He's not the same player anymore. He finally gets a chance to speak at the podium. And after, reading the transcript, everything he said wasn't, really malicious or mean.
No,
but when you go on Twitter or see the media, you see the first part of the quote, and that's it. You hear things he said like, I don't like my role, and that's all you saw on Twitter and websites. You know what he said? The rest was, I don't like my role, but at this stage of my career, I want to accept it because I want to help my team win. But you don't hear that in the media.
Honestly, I had never heard that second part until you just said it right there.
Yes.
To be completely honest. Now, those of you who haven't heard, yes, he went and during Media Day, everybody, of course, was going to go around two people, Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, and I guess Alex Smith in there as well. But Randy Moss is going to be, he's going to say something.
Yeah.
From his straight cash homie days, he's going to say something memorable. And besides the fact that, he said, I don't exactly like my role, but I do what I have to do, he also came out and said that he feels that he is the greatest wide receiver of all time.
He didn't come out and say that. Someone asked him. He thought about it. You don't know about that part either. This is what he said. He said, me being older now and looking, I don't go by stats, I really don't, but I think I'm the greatest ever to do it. That's my personal opinion. I love Jerry Rice. I'm a fan of his, but that's my personal opinion. And that was it. And then boom, the whole Twitter world blew up, and he's the bad guy and everything. Now, obviously, I think he's wrong. Obviously, come on, he hasn't been who he was for the last 3 years. He's just not really anyone special anymore. He's just not. Then again, every great player goes through it. Deion Sanders, last few years in Baltimore, was disgusting to watch. Jerry Rice, when he bounced between the Seahawks and Broncos the last few years, you don't defeat age. You don't. Everyone gets older. It's science. No one's going to be at the top of their game forever. But one of the bigger storylines, I think, was today when I was watching ESPN First Take. Skip Bayless, of all people, was the one sports writer who actually did not have Jerry Rice at number 1. And no, it wasn't Randy Moss. It was Michael Irvin. You know where he had Jerry Rice? Number 3. He had Jerry Rice as the third greatest wide receiver.
Behind Irvin and Moss.
Behind Irvin and Moss.
All right, now we did a little straw poll here. We asked everybody in the 3SN gang. We asked a couple of our guest analysts who come in and talk. We all have Jerry Rice at number 1. We got a couple who have Moss at 2, a bunch at 3, maybe 4, but we all are agreeing that Jerry Rice is number 1. Here's my thing to Skip Bayless. Michael Irvin at number 2. Or I have a number 2, he had him at number 1. Here's something I didn't realize. Where do you think he ranks in terms of all-time receptions? Jerry Rice obviously number 1 by a long margin.
You said earlier he didn't get 1,000, right?
He did not get 1,000 catches.
So is he in the 900 range?
No.
800?
No.
700?
Yes.
Okay. Wow,
750 catches. That's all he had. That's 35th on the all-time list, behind current players such as Wes Welker, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Andre Johnson, Jason Witten are all behind him.
Wow. Well,
Shannon Sharp's behind him.
Well, you see, everyone has their opinion. The unanimous is Rice because he's freaking Jerry Rice. It's like with Michael Jordan. Everyone knows he's the best, and that's it.
Right.
Except the few LeBron lovers out there. But anyway,
yeah, we'll stay away from that.
We're not going to.
But that's what I mean, though. That right there, the fact that we all are so high on Michael Irvin, why is that? Is it because he has Super Bowl rings? Is it because he was that dominant? Or is it because of the stats? It's obviously not because of the stats. So we got to look at the same thing with Randy Moss. Randy Moss does not have the statistics that Jerry Rice does.
No, not even close.
And no one will.
No one will. And that's the thing. I mean, you have great receivers, elite receivers, and then Jerry Rice has his own category. Jerry Rice, that's a category.
Yeah.
It's just Jerry Rice.
Just like same way with, you'll never compare Michael Jordan to any other basketball player that ever comes through again, ever. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Now,
like, no one can be properly compared to Babe Ruth ever again either.
And remember, he spent the last few years with the Wizards, thing like that. It's just sometimes no one remembers him for those days. And I think what Randy was getting at, I don't think he did defend his comments today, but he kind of was saying, I'm not saying I'm like the best ever. The thing is, I think with Michael Irvin, Super Bowl rings has a big part of it. He was part of a dynasty, part of America's team. He was boisterous. He was didn't take crap from anyone. He'd get into fights with his teammates. It was like the whole competitive nature thing.
Right.
And now Jerry Rice didn't do that. But the point is, so many people rank different players according to different things. Hines Ward, outside of Pittsburgh, I don't think anyone will have Hines Ward as a top 5 wide receiver all the time. The very few.
I mean,
I never hear.
It depends on what you qualify as a good wide receiver. So let me ask, what does it take to be the greatest wide receiver of all time?
To me, there's a difference.
That's what I want to know.
To me, in my eyes, there's a difference between the greatest and the best.
Okay.
Jerry Rice was the greatest. He was nowhere near the most physically talented wide receiver or football player of all time. He was average, actually, but he got it done. He was, in terms of speed, height, leaping ability, things like that. He came from, Southern Miss?
Yes.
But you see, he was already at a disadvantage. You understand?
Because he came from a no-name school?
Yeah, he had a no-name school, didn't have the physique, all the physical attributes, and he still did what he did. That's what made him great.
Now let me ask you this then, along the same lines, because you just mentioned Hines Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Hines Ward is very similar. He got the job done. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, including a Super Bowl MVP. He's in the top 8 in all-time catches, over 1,000.
1,000 Super Bowl MVP, 2 Super Bowl rings.
So let me ask you, how is that different from Jerry Rice, other than 1 Super Bowl ring?
I just think people give Rice so much more. I think the reason Ward doesn't get that instead of Rice is because Rice, the thought's already there. It's Jerry Rice. No one goes in and digs and thinks to themselves, well, Hines Ward, he's kind of similar in Jerry Rice. Not really big. He's not like a diva about it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of that stigma. It's there. It's there. He has 1,000 receptions, more than Irvin, Moss, more than so many other people. He has a Super Bowl MVP, 2 Super Bowl rings, and he blocked. But no one wants to hear, blocking.
Guess what?
That goes a long way.
You said it right there, though. What can Randy Moss do? When he was young, yes, he was the fastest out there and tall, big. To be that big and have that speed, unprecedented. Great. He did nothing else. Jerry Rice, I don't know as much. He was a little bit, he did
a little bit of everything.
He did a little bit of everything. Nothing exactly spectacular, but the fact of the matter was, look at what he did, catching all those passes for all those years, but also look at the quarterbacks that were throwing him the ball. You just have to keep that in mind a little bit. Someone like, the reason I have Hines Ward in my top 5 is because he revolutionized the position. He is the only person, and we've got about 15 wide receivers that we've all collaboratively come up with here. He is the only one who did everything. Not only was he a good pass catcher, he was somebody who could literally run it out of the backfield. He did that many times. He could throw a pass. He was a college quarterback. He played special teams for the first 2 years. He did it all, and not to mention, he became known as a dirty player because he was the only wide receiver who knew how to throw a block.
He was He was the first of his kind, the first true blocking receiver. Randy Moss was the first real. He's the best deep threat in the NFL. Everyone has their thing. Jerry Rice was just Jerry Rice, Mr. Everything. Fred Biletnikoff had an award named after him.
I mean, and you obviously know he's got to be good.
I think you need to go into the Hall of Fame if you change the way the game played, if you're different, if you're one of a kind. Hines Ward should be a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, now let me piggyback off that because you said it right there. If you change the game, you definitely deserve to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And actually, I just learned about a wide receiver today from the early 1930s who literally changed the game. He pretty much invented the wide receiver position, and I'd like the person who talked about it.
Our executive producer doesn't want to go into it, but
the name was Don Hudson back in 1935, correct me if I'm wrong? 99 touchdown catches back then, where every team, it was pretty much playing rugby. I mean, it was all runs at that point. Very few passing plays. He only has 450 career receptions compared to the lowest that anybody has on this list that we've talked about is Michael Irvin at 750. All right, he had 450. Played 14 years, but this is when everybody ran the ball. This is where the final scores were like 14-7 at best. Yeah, back in the Leatherhead days, if they even have Leatherheads at that point.
I think the thing is, though, he's not mentioned is because so many people, obviously, if you're alive now, really didn't follow him back then unless you're in your elderly ages.
And that's why we're not talking about it. That's why when we asked our friends at the Calf Muscle, we asked Dan Massaro for his top 5, and he put Biletnikoff at number 5, and he said, honestly, I don't know much about him, but he's got an award named after him. I know he's got to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, no,
and
exactly.
You know what, Dan, I agree wholeheartedly. I can't tell you if
you also said if you could include tight ends in there, you got to put Gonzalez up there. Because he was kind of, I mean, he's a tight end, so I don't know. He's like a receiving tight end.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's number 2 in all-time career receptions. You can't argue that.
Okay, here are my top 5, I guess. 1, Jerry Rice. Although I think he's the greatest, I don't think he's the best, because I explained to you the difference. I have 2, Randy Moss, and I'm really not trying to be a homer here, but the reason I put Moss in because there's a few factors. He was the best he was the best deep threat of all time. He never ran a slant or anything, but he would go across the middle in a deep route. He had to have a defense created for him, for God's sakes. The cover 2 was for him. It was created for him. And it didn't work, but it was for him. It was to contain him. He was the lead scorer on the top 2 scoring offenses of all time, the 1998 Minnesota Vikings and the 2007 New England Patriots, the top scorer there. His rookie year, no receiver ever had a rookie year like Randy Moss did.
Oh, that first game, Monday night, everybody's ready to say, oh, what can this guy do? And
exactly.
You had to pick up their jaws off the floor.
Exactly. And another thing people don't realize, you know how many Hall of Fame quarterbacks he played with?
0.
1, Tom Brady.
He's not there yet.
Yeah. Well,
you never know. Spygate, steroids, anything's possible at this point. We'll get into the steroids talk later. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen.
He played with Tom Brady for 2 years. Not the 3 years he was there, because Castle was in 1 year. He played with Tom Brady for 2 years, and that was it. You know who his quarterbacks were? Randall Cunningham. You often say Romo never has weapons or has a bad line. I'm going to do the same thing with Moss.
Yeah.
Randall Cunningham was his quarterback. Fraud. Dante Culpepper, when he lost them, he couldn't do anything without Moss. Kerry Collins, Colin Kaepernick, Alex Smith, and Tom Brady for 2 years.
How about the Raiders? Rich Gannon, was he still there at that point?
That was Kerry Collins.
That was the Kerry Collins years?
Yeah, and again,
well, Jamarcus Russell, I think, during that time over there. I mean,
Russell.
What else do you need to hear? Yeah, you're right. There's not many quarterbacks there that I would say.
And I'm not saying that makes him the best, because I don't think you should say what could be would make him
But when you can put up the numbers that he has put up. Now, here's the other thing. I mean, Moss also said, I definitely have statistically not a good year this year.
Yeah, he's admitting that.
Yeah. Thing is, if you take out those 3 years, and you take out Jerry Rice's 3 worst years, I mean, because he went and played with Oakland and Seattle afterwards, too. If you took out each of those players' 3 worst years, I'll bet you those numbers get a lot closer, especially in, yards per season and touchdowns per season.
Yeah, and they do. And, Rice did have, I think he had 1 good year with Oakland. Remember they played the Buccaneers?
Oh,
he had a decent year.
And who was his quarterback then? Rich Gannon, who was the MVP, I believe, during that year when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and look, the thing with Moss, to me, his first 10 or 12 years or whatever it was, to me, he was the best ever. Not the greatest, the best. The reason they called him the Super Freak is because he was 6'4", 215 pounds. He should not have been that fast. He ran a 4.2. He lost a step. He still ran a 4.3. He was called a Super Freak because scientifically he was not supposed to be who he was. It just wasn't. Plexico Burr, slow as a statue, 6'4". He's just not supposed to be that. And I'm just gonna end it here. I think when Moss lost it, he lost it. He had nothing else because the only thing he could do was really go deep. You know what I mean? That was really the only thing he could do. And when Moss went off the hill fast, and as soon as he left New England, that was it. Because when you're a fast receiver, and that's all you have, and you lose that, you got anything else. And I think, to me, it's over for him. He lost it. He's not the same. Jerry Rice did it really late into his 30s. Jerry Rice still did it late in his 30s. But, so that's why, to me, Moss is number 2. Number 3,
oh, yeah, you're still on number 2. That's right.
All right. Number 3, 10 minutes later. I'll probably go with T.O. Again, I don't think he's necessarily the third greatest, but maybe the third best. But my definition's different. Terrell Owens, he's strong, man. He was so strong. Randy Moss was known for his deep threat. Terrell Owens was known for just taking over a game, just bullying people. He was a straight-up bully. He was so strong. He was... I'm not trying to gush over the guy, but he was good. Remember in the Super Bowl? He lost the Super Bowl. But, 13 catches?
This was his first game back after the broken ankle. 13 catches, 140-some yards. If his team wins that game, he is the MVP.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, T.O. number 3.
Yeah. When I'm saying 3 best, I'm talking just the most physically gifted, best athletes ever. And even though I said Rice wasn't most physically talented, I just got to put him number 1. I have to.
See, and that's the thing that kind of bothers me. I just kind of have to. That's what kind of scares me there.
It is what it is. I'm sorry. Maybe I got to rethink this. But anyway, number 4. I never really watched Michael Irvin that much.
You got to go by instinct.
I never really watched Michael Irvin that much. I know he's one of the greatest. But like you said, he only had like 700 some catches. But
I mean, this is also an era where they didn't need to throw it as much. You have a guy named Emmitt Smith in your backfield as well.
Yeah.
You also have a guy named Deion Sanders, Jane Novacek at tight end. I mean, it's not like he had nobody to compete with out there like Randy Moss did.
Exactly, and
and here's the thing about someone like Randy Moss, someone like Calvin Johnson today. We've heard a lot of honorable mention for Calvin Johnson. Is that who else on their team is worth throwing the ball to? That's why Randy Moss has so many catches. That's why Calvin Johnson is going to break every single receiving record before he's done. Because there's nobody else on the team that is going to take any catches. Now, you're also going to say the same way, yes, you won't have coverage drawn away from you, therefore that is pretty impressive. However, guess what? When you have Matthew Stafford throwing 60 passes and 40 of them are going in the direction of Calvin Johnson, guess what? I hope he's breaking records.
I know. Imagine if Calvin Johnson or Larry Fitzgerald had a great quarterback like Tom Brady or Manning. Oh my God.
Now there's a question for you. Where do those two stand on the receptions list?
I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, they're so young. They got a long way to go.
And the reason I'm not really putting them up there is because they're still young in their careers. Well, Larry Fitzgerald. He's in his 30s, right?
28 according to this.
Wow.
He's got 764 career receptions. That's more already than Michael Irvin.
Yeah. Oh boy. I think both of them will be top 5, 10 wide receivers when their careers are over.
Probably.
Imagine Fitzgerald never had a quarterback really. Kurt Warner for
those
like
couple of years.
A couple of years. That was really it. Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford. Okay, he's all right, I guess, but still.
Who was Jake the Snake? Was he the only other guy who was there before Kurt Warner?
Drake, oh my God.
All right, we're overdue on a break, so when we come back, we'll continue this discussion as well as a little bit of Super Bowl talk and, of course, controversy. We got steroids talk here leading up to the Super Bowl.
No, not. You can't do that. It's Super Bowl week, not to the NFL star player. We can't do this, can we?
Well,
we're not allowed.
No, yeah, we're probably not allowed. It is the Ray Lewis Bowl after all.
It's probably like cybercrime agents on the other line the NFL hired. Yeah.
We'll talk about the reindeer Royce here in a minute when we come back. 3SN's live from the train room. We'll be back in a moment.
The 360 Sports Network is not a blog. We are a network, a collaboration of websites, blogs, radio stations, restaurants, and more. We are a group created by the fans, for the fans. Whatever the fans feel is newsworthy in the world of sports, we talk about. We believe that everybody is a fan, everyone is an analyst. That's the whole 360 concept. We invite all fans to join the 360 Sports Network by posting on their website directly at 360sportsnetwork.com or by linking their posts to the collaborative network. You can also be a part of the show tonight by tweeting us at 3S Network. Thank you for your interest in the 360 Sports Network.
Every Penguins game this season, for all you thirsty folks out there who really want to get together and party, you know there's a place called the Crane Room over there in Newcastle, and they have the most incredible special for every Penguins game out there. You can get a 23-ounce Labatt Blue for $2.50. 23 ounces of the cold, most incredibly great beer in the world for $2.50. Come to the Crane Room. You will not regret it. Watch the Penguins chomp down on those wings, and definitely Labatt Blue. 23 ounces, $2.50. You heard it from the mad scientist. It's out there. Go after it.
And now back to the Crane Room in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. This is 3SN Live. And now back to the Crane
Room. Ray Lewis got roided by a reindeer. Spraying velvet stuff under his tongue. We're back. 360 Sports Network live at the Crane Room Bar and Grill. Stop by if you're in the Newcastle area. It is pasta night here. I do believe they have the Southwest chicken pasta back again tonight. It's Tyrion or not. Well, ask for it every time you come here. Maybe don't put it back on. It's an occasional, but it's the best. The Diablo is the recommended choice for this evening. Pasta night, huge bowl of pasta, good enough for dinner tonight and lunch tomorrow, and possibly dinner tomorrow. All for a low price of $8.99. We're back. We were talking some of our top 5 NFL wide receivers. Just to recap, I have Jerry Rice, number 1, Urban 2, Randy Moss 3, Chris Carter 4, and Hines Ward at number 5. D-Lab, Rice at number 1, Moss, of course he's got Moss up there, number 2. T.O. at number 3, Michael Irvin number 4, and I convinced him, I guess, to put Hines Ward at number 5. Talk some others. Greg, the mad scientist, has, well, we all have Randy Rice, wow.
I said that a few times today, actually.
Jerry Rice,
imagine,
number 1.
Though.
Randy Rice.
Imagine if they fused. Oh, my God.
We wouldn't have any discussion.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got Jerry Rice at number 1. Michael Irvin also at 2, like I do. He's got Hines Ward as high as number 3. Chris Carter 4. And he's got Randy Moss and Fred Biletnikoff at 5A and 5B. I mean, you know the mad scientist. He's got to have a couple on there.
Yeah.
Angelo Fornatero, our friend Jello. Rice 1, Owens 2, Lynn Swan 3, Largent at number 4, and Stallworth at number 5. So he's got some new names on there, and a couple Steelers on there kind of.
Hey, as a Steeler fan, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to sound like a homer, though, even though I'm sure now people think I would.
Well, seeing as neither of those two are the leading receiver for the team right now, that makes it tougher.
You know what's weird? Like, I'm surprised you put those two in over Ward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The era, the difference there, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, how much more they throw nowadays, who knows? Damn Star at the calf muscle, Jerry Rice 1, Randy Moss 2, Michael Irvin 3, T.O. 4, and Biletnikoff 5, like we said before. He put him at number 5 because, well, there's a Ward after him. And Tony Borelli chimed in with, excuse me, Jerry Rice at number 1. He puts Chris Carter at number 2, which I really like. I love his number 3 pick. Isaac Bruce from The Greatest Show on Turf Day.
The Rams from like 99.
I love that. He's up there. He's over 1,000 receptions. I love that pick. Randy Moss at number 4, and he was unsure at number 5. He was thinking about Ward, but he was also thinking Biletnikoff. He was also thinking T.O., and he couldn't give a definitive number 5, so he stuck with the top 4
and
there.
Skip Bayless. He had
He had
Irvin at 1.
Irvin at 1, Moss at 2, Jerry Rice at 3.
And I don't think
remember
he
his
didn't
4 or
really
5.
elaborate on 4, but he's the star of the day.
Yeah.
With that, that's nuts. He's the only person I think in the country who publicly declared that.
I think
But then
so.
again, you know what? Like you said, he's speaking his mind. He's giving his opinion. At least he's being different than everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, absolutely.
So good for him, I guess, in a way. Even though I think it's crazy, but he's just trying to speak his mind.
And, cannot blame him for that. If you have your top 5 and you think you're a lot different than us, send us a tweet at 3S Network. Let us know who your top 5 wide receivers of all time are. As we've said before, we know how it is. Yep, let's hear. Top
He has
5.
deer antler all over his bicep. Come on.
Oh,
We're gonna talk about
we're getting
Are
there.
we done there?
We're getting there. Oh, we're getting there.
Who are your, if you know off the top of your head, top 5 wide receivers of all time? Because you know the whole Moss versus Rice feud. You hear about
Right,
that?
yeah.
What would you? I'm assuming you have Rice at number 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
to. I'd probably put Tim Brown in the top 5.
See,
That's a
that's
good
the name
pick.
we haven't heard.
I definitely, Swan, Stalwart. You could debate one of the two. Stalwart actually had a better, longer career.
Me and him have
So I
Hines
think
Ward number 5.
I would definitely put Hines Ward in there. So I don't know about Lynn Swan. I think it's Stalwart. He set all our records. But then Hines Ward beat him.
Broke them all, so-
he broke all his. So I don't know. I guess I'm a little
Now, how much
biased.
emphasis would you put on statistics? Because,
I'd put emphasis on it, but
Not
I wouldn't be
everything.
everything. Absolutely not.
well, let me give you a name just to describe that. Michael Irvin.
Michael Irving. Well, I personally don't like guys at his age like to mess around with 17-year-olds.
Well, that's
so I'm
true,
a little
too.
biased.
At least you're being honest.
try to
He
be-
was a gamer, yes.
Yeah.
Stats, he obviously is not going to make it, but gamer, yes, hands down.
Exactly. So that's where you have to draw the line.
It's tough. Doing 5 would be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tim Brown's career, I don't know about top 5. Definitely close.
And that's a lot. Once you get past Jerry Rice for sure at number 1.
Yeah,
or
there's
two.
a lot of...
Andre Reed.
I was just going to say, for Buffalo was
There's so
incredible.
many.
There's so many in so many different ways. and
I
that's what
definitely think
makes it-
Hines Ward would be in the top 5.
But the
He'd have to
stigma,
be.
Jerry Rice number 1.
Not only stats, but what he did in a game.
He revolutionized the position, right?
When you break 250-pound linebackers' jaws as a wide receiver, you're in the top 5.
I agree. Thank you for your opinion.
You see just so many diversified opinions, but the main constant, Jerry Rice number 1.
Yes.
Lester Skip Bayless, which is,
Well, that sounds like Skip Bayless now, doesn't
it
it?
does, yeah.
He said Michael Irvin, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's looking beyond the statistics, and I can't blame him for that. Michael Irvin is somebody everybody looks to be. I want the Michael Irvin number, the big 8-8.
But see, we didn't grow up in the time period where players we never got to watch Brown, Reed, so we can't
In their
really. It's
prime.
harder for us to make an opinion. You know what I mean? And maybe
Like, I
Skip
couldn't tell you the
Bayless-
first thing about Biletnikoff. I couldn't tell you the first thing about Hudson.
And Skip Bayless covered the Cowboys, so he knows. Yeah, it's hard, I guess.
Now, is that Skip Bayless making that pick as much as a homer pick as a lot of people out there probably saying that our picks
Yeah.
of Swan and Hines Ward are
See, that's
homer
the thing.
picks?
It's hard to be as honest as you can without letting some love go in there. Anyway,
Let's move forward
Ray
to
Lewis.
Ray Lewis got roided by a reindeer. For
Okay.
those of you who have not heard, let's just fill them in real quick. Report came out on Media Day that Ray Lewis used deer antler spray. This is the real thing. This is from a company called SWATS, which is Sports with... now I'm always going to mess up that acronym. Let me get it right. SWATS, which is Sports with Alternatives to Steroids. Sports with Alternatives to Steroids came out with this, what's called deer antler spray. Essentially, you spray this deer antler
How the
garbage
hell do you,
under your tongue.
Figure this stuff out. Like, someone just one day decide I'm gonna see if deer spray or whatever
Well,
works. How do you
according to this company, SWAT, Sports with Alternatives to Steroids, they know they get their deer from Australia, I believe is what I just read. Yeah, and and this deer, because deer antlers grow so quickly, it's like it has the same growth factors, IGF-1, it's a human growth hormone type thing, and so as soon as this injury comes up, he starts spraying this stuff under his tongue twice a day. Essentially, everything grows back to normal that much quicker. And now, this is straight from them. The side effect of using this deer antler spray is that one can improve athletic performance, stimulate the metabolism, and improve the overall condition of the heart, help fight off colds, flu, and they say, quote, by allowing the body to burn off more stored sugars and require the burning of fats, will store the fuel increased muscle use. And this spray can do a lot in the way of rejuvenation of the body. And this may help with nerve damage repair as well.
Oh my God! What else? What else does that? Like, I don't know. Look, I don't care about this really because I'm more concerned about his little other passions more than this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I guess it goes to show that even the almighty, morally humble Ray Lewis can, break the rules, I guess. But this is not what makes me judge his character. But anyway, Ray Lewis, probably one of the greatest. Oh, he is one of the greatest inside linebackers of all time. But he did say it's funny. This conveniently came out during Super Bowl week.
Mm-hmm.
If turns out he did do this deer antler spray crap, everything he said in Super Bowl media week is going to get tarnished, especially if they lose. Because people will just be replaying the audio of him saying, I didn't do it, then he'll obviously have gotten caught in a lie. And I don't know if it's true or not, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's just...
He didn't kill 2 people, so...
He did kill 2 people, I guess.
Supposedly. Allegedly, no, he was acquitted.
Okay, well, OJ was acquitted too, but you know.
Now, here's the thing, how funny this was, because when I went on WBBW earlier today to talk about all this stuff, I was getting onto this SWAT's website to hear what they say, to see exactly what their product description is. Because you can buy this stuff, I think it was buy 3 bottles, get the 4th for free at like $65, something like that. So like $15 for a bottle at that point. So much traffic on the site. It says right on the website, from TV exposure, they cannot deliver for 2 weeks. And when I tried to get on there, I couldn't even get to the website at all. The website had crashed. They were getting so much fee. So people are looking into this as, I can spray deer antler crap under my tongue. I can take a pill made from deer antlers and buff up, essentially. That's a good question. I don't know if it's FDA approved. I have not heard that. I have not heard one way or another.
Google it, I guess.
It's common enough that you can buy a bottle of it on Amazon.com. So
I don't know. I mean, is it really gonna?
But here's the thing.
Work as well as it...
Here's what bothers me about all this. Forget the timing of everything. If this is true, there's also reports out there. I bet you haven't heard this one yet, Alex. That the same company, the co-owner, has come out and said, "Oh yeah, we sold a lot of this to the University of Alabama football players, and they've done it for years."
Oh my God.
They did it before the championship game last year against LSU.
I wonder why they're so big and strong, right?
I don't know, no kidding, huh?
I got Nick Satan over there. Jeez.
No, no, I hear you. I mean,
I think I don't know enough about it. Okay, I'm not gonna try and make an opinion here on the air and everything. I'm not gonna try and force it, but I think it obviously needs more looked into because if we just heard about it, but if the University of Alabama football players have heard about it, Ray Lewis have, I'm assuming a lot more people.
Now here's my question. If this does have this IGF-1, this banned substance, you're right. 1, how do they know about it? But 2, what really kills me, how are everybody getting through? How's everybody getting through these tests? These tests aren't nearly as reliable as we think they are. All these,
that's a good observation.
These drug scannings. Because they're even worse in college. And this is the point that we brought up too. We have the personnel for it. Don't make it random. Who cares about random? Test everybody. They have to give a urine sample right before every game. And when it comes through, it'll come through probably on Monday or Tuesday the following week. They're banned. Just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got everybody together at that point. If you're dressing for the game, you have to, give a sample.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. So many things, I'm sure, go on that we don't know about. And this is going to be the new thing. As soon as the Super Bowl's over, the NFL said they had no comment on it, right?
At the moment.
Yeah, because,
Well, because you know how bad it would look for them?
Yeah. How about it make Ray Lewis look because it's just, I don't know. A lot of people are saying the reason NFL's not commenting is they don't want to mess with the whole Ray Lewis storyline. And, you know, I know you definitely I think sometimes NFL is kind of overdoing with the whole Ray Lewis thing.
Oh, you know,
Ray Lewis is overdoing with the whole Ray Lewis thing. Breaking down crying in the middle, or, you know, after the game's over. I don't know, but this is going to be very embarrassing for the NFL. The NFL is going through a lot of changes, man.
It already is a bit embarrassing. 2 years ago, was it 2010? It was when they got rid of they changed the whole helmet-to-helmet rule or something like that. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do,
and now, apparently, kickoffs are going to be banished from the NFL, and if that doesn't work, we're just going to automatically start at the 20-yard line.
One person who's actually in the Super Bowl, I can't remember which one it was.
Pollard?
Yeah. Said 30 years from now, there will be no NFL. It will not exist. You know what? I don't disagree with him.
I still think it will. I get where he's coming from, though. It'll be a very different game.
It might be the NTFL, the National Touch Football League, at that point, but...
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't think it'll happen. Would I be surprised if it happened? No, I wouldn't. But I just think the way the NFL is going, you know, they're trying... That CTE test thing on Junior Seau, when they found CTE in his brain...
Yes.
That is huge. That is huge.
But we knew it was going to happen. We knew it.
Well, just the fact now that they had scientific studies about it, you know, because a lot of things, depression really result of his helmet-to-helmet hits, or was it something else? Mm. The bottom line, though, is he had a mental illness. And the Seau family's now suing the NFL. I think we could potentially be seeing a lot more lawsuits like that. I think the NFL in the next 30 years, it's going to be a touchy situation. It's going to be a very sad situation. It's going to come under a lot of fire. Who knows what's going to happen?
I don't want to know.
I know, it's going to be sad. I have a feeling it's not going to go away, but it's possible, I suppose. Who knows? I don't know. I guess that's all I could really say.
Hey, there's a lot that still has to happen.
But, I mean, do you really blame necessarily Goodell for trying to do this? I feel like he's trying to save the game. I mean, a lot of people are saying he's trying to be a dictator, he's a bad owner, blah, blah, blah.
He's trying to save money. And if there's no money, there is no game.
Well, because remember, he wanted to extend the NFL to 2 more games, remember? And that's kind of hypocritical of him.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's not much hypocrisy going on right now. You just have to look at the NCAA for that one, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to get into that.
You know what? I think we will. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we will discuss the NCAA and their hypocrisy, because you know how great that is. So when we come back, lots of great stuff about Mark Emmert and the beautiful NCAA. When we come back, 3SN Live.
It's that time of year again, where you try to fill rosters, scooping hot rumors before the other guy in your league can, watching NFL action more for the players and not so much for the games. Yeah, it's fantasy football time again. With all the analysis and information floating around the internet, who should you trust? Well, look no further than the 360 Sports Network's own Fantasy Football Toolkit. Join me, the Lost Cause, and the Mad Scientist every week as we break down stats, games, player performances, injuries, and a whole lot more. But who wants to wait a week? Get your fill of fantasy football information in my daily segment featured on the 360 Sports Network, the Daily Pigskin Bling. In under 10 minutes, you get fantasy football information, NFL news, injury reports, starts, sits, studs, duds, previews, reviews, and a whole lot more. Basically, everything to help make your fantasy football team sizzle. So check out the Fantasy Football Toolkit and the Pigskin Bling at 360sportsnetwork.com, as well as fantasyfootballtoolkit.com. All to make sure that your team isn't a lost cause.
Need a place to go to watch the game? Looking for a great game day atmosphere that hosts great food, great service, and the most variety of craft beer in town? Then come on down to the Crane Room Bar and Grill in Newcastle, where the beer is always cold and the best wings are right here. The specials every night, there's always a good deal waiting for you at the Crane Room. Come out on Mondays for $2 23-ounce domestic drafts from 7 to 9. Tuesdays, burger nights. And buy $5 burgers from 7 to 9 p.m. And course, at Pasta's Your Gig, Wednesday is your night. It's Pasta Night goes bonanza. Thursday, it's pound-for-pound wings all night at $2 domestic drafts from 7 to 9, and mixed drinks are half off every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Saturdays, from 7 to 9, it's $1 off draft beers. And for every Pirates game this year, enjoy a 23-ounce Icy Light for just $2. Whether it's to watch the game, at the bar, enjoy a night out at the outdoor patio, or sit down with your honey for dinner at the restaurant, the Crane Room has everything that you need. So come on down to the Crane Room, bar and grill, get your fix on wings, sports, and beer. Just off Route 18 in beautiful, sunny Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
The 360 Sports Network is not a blog. We are a network, a collaboration of websites, blogs, radio stations, restaurants, and more. We are a group created by the fans, for the fans. Whatever the fans feel is newsworthy in the world of sports, we talk about. We believe that everybody is a fan, everyone is an analyst. That's the whole 360 concept. We invite all fans to join the 360 Sports Network by posting on their website directly at 360sportsnetwork.com or by linking their posts to the collaborative network. You can also be a part of the show tonight by tweeting us at 3S Network. Thank you for your interest in the 360 Sports Network. Roundtable arguments coming at you at 3SN Live.
Everybody, we are live here at the Crane Room Bar and Grill. It is pasta night. It is some really good stuff right now, and
yeah, I'm surprised you're able to stop for 3 seconds to talk and then stop stuffing your face there.
I'm like shoving pasta down my throat and chicken down my throat as I'm trying to lead us back in. But bottom line, it's good stuff. You know, you don't always have to come here for the wings. Really, pasta's pretty good. Anyway, okay, what were we talking about? NCAA.
Yes, let's get into everything going on with the NCAA because things are starting to get a little bit feisty, or at least I think they should be. The NCAA has come out with a report that they have another set of rules violators. The NCAA, they have violated their own bylaws. The Nevin Shapiro case with Miami, where he gave money, a booster who gave money to the players for whatever. Reports that it was prostitutes and for abortions at times too.
Oh my
But
God.
that's besides the point. Supposedly, to get information about all this, the NCAA improperly obtained information by asking his attorney. And this is in a completely separate instance from all the booster scandals. A different court case is where they asked his attorney, to what extent did they go to get this information? The attorney called a couple weeks ago and asked to be paid because the attorney was on the payroll of the NCAA. Oops.
Way to go. But
Yeah.
the NCAA sounds like they investigated themselves.
They're working on it right now.
how do you do that?
How do you investigate yourselves?
Like, you're gonna have to. Well,
You're
you're gonna hire your
trying
own
to-
attorney.
The same way Penn State did, maybe, by bringing in an outside unbiased opinion and watching them be biased anyway.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Mhm.
So,
Now, I mean, because a major chunk of the evidence against Miami has probably been obtained improperly, sanctions were going to be announced last week. Now they have to wait out, and there might not be any sanctions whatsoever at this point. Things are kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern right now. Now, of course, everybody's asking for quick and swift action, because that's what the NCAA always does, right?
yeah.
They said, no, we're going to take our time, we're going to make sure this is investigated thoroughly. Since
okay.
when?
Yeah.
Since
now,
when?
Now it is. Everything else. The Penn State thing wasn't.
How about North Carolina? North Carolina, in 2011, they supposedly had academic fraud issues from some of their football players. They took a class that really never existed, and they got credit for it. Well, and North Carolina turns it into the NCAA. The NCAA immediately bans them for the next 2 years from bowl games. They just came out this last summer saying that, oh, wait, North Carolina did not commit any NCAA violations.
Oh,
Oops.
boy.
There's a lot of oopsie moments
Yeah,
here.
well, what things did they screw up with the Penn State investigation?
Well, we're going to find out probably. There's now
You
everything
think they
going
could
on.
this is what they should do. I think I'm going off topic. They should give them back their bowl appearances. Do you think they could do something like when Penn State doesn't make a bowl? Maybe if they get 5 wins, allow them to have a bowl trip. Or do you think that's too kind of?
That won't happen. That definitely will not
What they
happen.
should do, I think the first thing to save that program, give them their scholarships back. That is so big. O'Brien's recruiting well, but those lost scholarships, man, are gonna kill them.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, about how quickly everything happened. The Sandusky thing came out in November of 2011. He was convicted of, I should say, of those 45 counts of sexual abuse on June 22nd. The free report with everything came out July 12th. This is now 8 months after everything started. And then a week after that is when all these punishments. I mean, there was no time to do anything. Less than 2 weeks they made this decision about it. Here's something that really caught my eye. This is a sports management professor. Her name is Ellen Starwowski from Drexel University. She said, quote, if the NCAA is coming out and charging this hard, against Penn State that is, what might they be trying to deflect attention away from? Maybe this is exactly it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you
And here's the other thing that really bothers me too.
yeah.
The NCAA actually came out and said, with the Shapiro case, that, we essentially had to do this because we don't have subpoena power. We cannot subpoena information from our organizations.
Yeah.
Do you think the NCAA deserves to have subpoena power?
Oh, gee, I don't know. That's kind of a lot of power to have.
Isn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't say so. I mean, because why stop there then?
Exactly.
Imagine the things they could do with that kind of power.
Right.
I wouldn't. That's too much, I
Well,
think.
who do they think they are, though? Who do they think they are?
That is the thing. Like, they're just the NCAA. Like, what are they? Like some government agency or something? Jeez, just...
That's what they're trying to turn into.
A lot of people probably say this is like a really more inside political stuff than what we realize. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why they're investigating themselves. To try and get this power. See, now we need subpoena power.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I don't think that's the case, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't. That's too much. You don't give the NCAA.
You don't give...
That's no.
Yeah. I don't know. This is what I gotta say, is that, maybe they do need subpoena power. That's what I'm gonna say. And some of you maybe have read my my post on the website, 360sportsnetwork.com. If you haven't, check it out. I mean, I'm saying a lot of it right now, but it is... I appreciate somebody just commented saying that, yeah, it was pretty good. I'm glad you think so, but pretty much it's talking about all this stuff. Do they deserve subpoena power? President Mark Emmert said after the Penn State sanctions that Penn State needed to go back to a culture of putting education ahead of athletics. Football should never be put ahead of athletics. If he had subpoena power, though, maybe he would actually realize that Penn State is in the top 5 annually in football graduation rates. Maybe he would know that a starting offensive lineman is a college professor. He is an undergraduate instructor of a college trig class. You probably wouldn't even pass that trig class there, Mr. Emery. Easy for me to say. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing, subpoena power. You're changing a federal law. You can't be requiring people.
That's what I'm getting.
Don't do that.
Just,
You don't do that. If
That's-
anything, you should be under
Don't you-
investigation by the FBI by getting this, by trying to get this subpoena power. I think, in my mind, I think that's just absolutely over the top.
That's what I'm saying. It's just too over the top. You just feel like, you can bring you need to investigate yourself now. It seems noble up front.
Now, do we investigate just Miami, or do we have to look at everything that they've done over the past few years?
I would. Yeah. If you look at all their decisions, all the disciplinary actions against programs, anything. Because if Miami's in question, why not North Carolina? Why not Penn State? Why not Ohio State?
An NCAA investigator leaked information about a UCLA player a few years
Why
back.
not? Oh man, this is going back far. What's the other?
Reggie
the
Bush?
Mustangs?
Yeah.
SMU.
Oh, SMU. There could have been stuff way back then. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. You got to look over everything.
But here are the things we know. An LA Supreme Court judge actually came out and said that researchers and investigators went, quote, over the top in the Reggie Bush scandal out there at USC. That they went too far with the way that they investigated. There were secret witnesses used in the Alabama infractions with, what's his name, Albert Means. I mean, this has happened 3, 4, 5, at least times that we know of, that we actually are hearing people coming out and say that, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I mean, from the North Carolina where the NCAA admitted their fault, they've now come out and saying, oops, we kind of screwed up here with Miami. Penn State, there's now a federal charge against them, or not a federal charge, I should say. There's a court case being brought up against them. We said Reggie Bush instance with a judge saying that things were over the top. We know of secret witnesses who have come out for the Alabama case, and an investigator leaked information in UCLA. That's 6 times already that we know facts for sure. For me, the answer is simple. Fire Mark Emmert. Or first of all, I'd say get rid of the NCAA. We don't need somebody who is supposedly in the best interest of all of its organizations to be pretty much just trying to destroy them all with no power and with trying to get power he doesn't deserve. Mm-hmm. So, thing is, I don't see the NCAA ever getting disbanded. It's not going to happen. You got to get rid of the leader. That's the next best thing. And hire in his place Jay Bilas.
Well, now, why Jay Bilas?
Jay Bilas, alright, I've never been a Jay Bilas fan. I'll say that from the beginning. First of all, though, he's from Duke. He's smart. He knows what he's talking about. He's a political science major. He knows what he's talking about. He could run, this isn't a political office, obviously, but it really kind of is. The reason I like about Jay Bilas is that he is unprejudiced beyond all belief. He believes everybody deserves to be treated equally, fairly, and he cannot stand the way the NCAA in all facets is being run. He hates the fact that these players are putting on hats in front of millions of people at once to say where they're going to college.
I hate that.
He cannot stand it. He wants it to change. He needs it to change. He can't stand it anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's step number 1. Number 2, fact of the matter that he sees all the chaos in the NCAA. He's come out on his Twitter feeds saying, not in as many words, but essentially saying that, NCAA was bad a few years ago. That's why Mark Emmert had to come in and try to be changed. Things have gotten worse since then. Take a good look at this. This power should not be had. And if you look at some of his posts, and I encourage all of you out there to follow him, at Jay Bilas, it's a fun follow. Not to mention, he has 500,000 followers. Guess how many people he follows? 0.
That's like Skip
Bayless. He's a one-man. He knows. He has his opinions. He will go and he will figure out on his own. He doesn't need people telling him through social media what's going on.
Yeah. Can he really handle the NCAA, though? I mean, is he experienced enough? I know he has political science major and he knows what he sees with his eyes, but is he able to really handle that?
Would I be able to? Do you think? In all honesty, do you think I would be able to?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying I don't know, I don't know enough about the position of it in and of itself to say who should have it and who should not be there. Mm-hmm. Is it something? Is it something you can handle? Do you think? Could you?
I'm not sure I could fully, but here's the thing, though, too, that
it's a lot of responsibility.
Right.
That's a big responsibility.
It is. Here's the other thing. I'm not known and respected across the country either. Jay Bilas is.
You have a pretty decent following on our website. That's it, though.
I mean, that's it, though. Jay Bilas.
Here's the thing.
Jay Bilas, to me, he played at a national university.
Does he
Everybody
want to do
knows
that?
him from there.
Does he want to take over the NCAA?
I hope he does.
I mean, is this really what I'm saying? Is this a really legitimate thing that's going around, or is this just your own?
No, I'm trying to start it. Bilas for president, guys. Bilas for prez. I'm telling you, we got get this out there because, honestly, he is the best option out there. I cannot stand seeing this guy Mark Emmert make it worse. Now, could there be somebody better? Maybe, yes. But to me, there is nobody who has been more honest, more upfront, and more fair about what is right and wrong. What is actually right and wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, he goes and tweets and stuff about the stupidity of of schools being banned from being able to put an insignia on their jersey or a player's name who passed away on their jersey. They're focusing, the NCAA is focusing their rules committee on stuff like that. What a waste of time and putting the NCAA
so much
in
emphasis when there's a lot more important things.
Yeah, and that would be something that I think would be a little bit more important than...
college athletics is more controversial, I think, than pro athletics sometimes.
I think so, too.
And, this is what I think. I think the NCAA, a lot of things have to change.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the fact that there's so much controversy, I think it's an indicator. It suggests that there needs to be change.
Yeah.
I don't know who should be president, who should not be president, but I just feel like I just kind of feel like they're the bullies, with the microscope under each program, trying to be, Mr. Moral Police. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be or that's wrong, but you just kind of get the feel like, do they really have the best interests in the programs? I don't know if they do or not, but it's kind of like...
But that's the way it feels, and then when we feel that way, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. I think they mishandled a lot of the Penn State stuff. I really do.
It needs to change. All right, real quick, we're running out of time. I want to mention real quick that we have a couple more top 5 wide receiver picks. Mark McConnell says Rice, Moss, Marvin Harrison, not bad, Steve Largent, and Megatron. Our own Jim Blues gives Rice number 1, Steve Largent number 2, Randy Moss at 3, Harrison at 4, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin maybe rounding out the top 5. Aaron Gall, I like his picks here. He is a Ravens fan too, though, so good luck, Ravens. He's got Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, Randy Moss, and Tim Brown, but he also makes the good point that he would definitely put Tony Gonzalez in the top 5 if you include tight ends. I think a lot of us feel that way.
He's a Hall of
sure.
Famer. He's a future.
No doubt about it.
Why doesn't Marvin Harrison get a lot of... We mentioned a lot of wide receivers. Why do we not mention Marvin Harrison?
Because he would be nothing without Peyton Manning. That's my guess.
Well,
right
he's not like the biggest, strongest, fastest guy. He was not the most...
Harder, bigger, faster, stronger.
Yep.
All right, real quick. Harbaugh Bowl, who do you got?
Oh, God. Niners... win. What did I originally say? Something like
27-17.
Yeah, along those lines. In the 20s, I think.
27-20.
Yeah,
maybe. I give the 49ers in a relatively low-scoring game. Kaepernick scores late. It'll be 20-16. Niners win.
All right. We could go a few minutes over. I like we're getting in trouble. This is how they win. For the Niners to win, they got to shut down Ray Rice because you know why Joe Flacco's been so good. He hasn't had to rely on Ray Rice.
It's all been
if
Ray
Joe
Rice.
Flacco has to do it by himself, which an elite quarterback could do by himself, and I don't think he is, then if they make Flacco do it by himself, I think the Niners will win. If they can't contain Ray Rice,
it's done.
It's done. They got to take some facet out. And as far as the Niners go on offense, they just, this is going to sound really cliche, they just got to do what they've been doing.
They do.
They don't change anything different.
They don't need to. Kaepernick will take care of it himself.
Yeah, and the Ravens will win if they can stop Kaepernick.
You got it.
That's it. Simple game plan.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining in for the 360 Sports Network. We got to take off. Have a pleasant evening. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.